We're shooting a video. Would you want to talk to us?
Regarding?
Homosexuality.
No, not biologically correct.
लोअर फैमिलीज़ हैं उनमें ज़्यादा होता है, बट जो एजुकेटेड है उनमें थोड़ा कम होता है।
ये तो एक टेस्ट है और वल्गर है ये।
इस चीज़ के लड़के बताएं, लड़के बताएंगे, हमें तो अपनी दुनिया से मतलब है, तभी हमें अब समाज ने अपनाया नहीं है, घी भी देने से मना कर देते हैं।
अपनाया है तो
नहीं अपनाया अभी, जब अपनाएंगे तब जवाब दूंगे, अभी कुछ अपनाया नहीं है।
होमोसेक्सुअल अपने ऐसा तो नहीं कोई एज्यूम कर लिया कि हम दो खड़े हैं तो कोई होमो वैसा कुछ है, वी आर जस्ट फ्रेंड्स।
In a world where a 15-second reel can define an opinion, we're here to peel back the layers. Today, we explore the real struggles and narratives behind the flashy memes, the mockery, and the outdated beliefs. Welcome to a world where old binaries shatter and truth bursts forth in Technicolor. How does this generation, raised on viral memes and social media, redefine love, identity, and rights? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Tanisha, and welcome to our exploration of what it really means to be young, diverse, and unapologetically human in today's world. Let's peel back the layers.
ये जो होमोसेक्सुअल्स बोलते हैं हम, ये तो हमारे जीन्स में है, सारे डिजीज जेनेटिक है, जो भी चीजें हैं उसमें ये एक विकृति है। हम इसको पूर्ण स्वस्थ मानसिकता नहीं कह सकते। हर तरह की विकृति का योग से संतुलन होता है, ये फैक्ट।
Yog Guru Baba Ramdev also is of the opinion that homosexuality is actually a bad addiction. He says at least he can cure people of homosexuality at his ashram. What is it that Yog Guru Baba Ramdev is saying? He says if our parents were homosexuals, we wouldn't have been born. Homosexuality, according to Yog Guru Baba Ramdev, is unnatural.
This is Spectrum Unleashed, a revolution of identity. Today we explore how Gen Z is smashing outdated ideas, redefining gender, and even reshaping the issue of same-sex marriages. So let's buckle up. To understand where we are, we must journey through where we've been. The legal landscape has undergone seismic shifts from laws that once criminalized love to modern-day activism. Welcome, dear viewers, to the world's oldest and most obsessive and frankly the most pointless pastime of humanity, judging other people. And Indians, to be very frank, have a PhD in that. So today, oh boy, today we have a juicy one for you guys. Who gets to love whom and why is that anyone's business at all? Ah yes, love. That magical thing that poets cry over, rom-coms butcher, and your nosy aunties track like it's a crime scene investigation. But here's a fun little plot twist. What if I told you that for some people, love isn't just a roller coaster of emotions? It's a legal battle, a family feud, and a full-blown survival challenge all at once. You won't believe it, right? Because guess what? Same-sex marriages are still not legalized in India. And the government, in its infinite wisdom, declared that same-sex marriages go against the Indian culture and traditions. Yes, you heard that right. According to them, love between two consenting adults need a cultural check. Because apparently only certain types of love are truly Indian. But I ask you, did they ever read their own history books to make that announcement? No, they did not. So here are how things stand right now. On January 6 this year, the Supreme Court decided to address various petitions pending across multiple high courts. Petitions that demanded that same-sex marriages be legalized in India. Because back in 2018, the Supreme Court gave us a groundbreaking verdict. Yeah, that happened. So in 2018, the court decided that being in a same-sex relationship was no longer a crime. Revolutionary, right? But here's the kicker. While it's legal to be in a same-sex relationship, it's illegal to marry a partner. Basically, the law says, sure, you can love each other, just don't go around making it official. And of course, there's the society to consider. How can we forget the society, our oh so judgmental society? And why, you ask? the Supreme Court did so? Because, well, marriage is the foundation of Indian society. And according to some, that foundation will apparently collapse if people marry without government-approved reproductive potential. Yeah, you heard that right. Because same-sex couples can't procreate. They can't constitute a family. So naturally, their love must be invalid. Apparently to them, it makes perfect sense, right? So if we apply that logic universally, fertile couples should also have their marriages annulled as soon as possible. And things like adoption should not even exist, right? Because why do we even adopt children? Oh yes, now we have the good old instruction manual of socially acceptable love to follow, which all our government institutions are so eager to do so. So let's read some rules, shall we? Rule number 1, marry within your own caste. Rule number 2, only he and she allowed. Rule number 3, if you break these rules, well, congratulations, you've unlocked the bonus level, societal harassment and legal battles. So why not toss this book, right? Okay, so now let's be clear. This isn't about tradition. This isn't even about family values. This is about control. Control over who gets to love, who gets to marry, and who gets to live without some self-appointed morality police breathing down their necks. So this is about whom we choose to love, whom the Gen Z chooses to love, and what we consider as family. We are not here to debate whether people deserve basic human dignity. That's a given. Everybody deserves that. That's like trying to explain gravity to someone who thinks the earth is flat.
Throughout India's history, gender and sexual diversity have found a place in various cultural and religious texts. Ancient scriptures like Kama Sutra and temple carvings at Khajuraho depict fluid expressions of gender and sexuality. Yet, the colonial era drastically altered the societal perceptions. In 1861, Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code was introduced by the British, criminalizing the carnal intercourse against the order of nature. This law, deeply rooted in Victorian morality, stigmatized LGBTQ identities for over a century. The 1990s marked the emergence of India's LGBTQ movement. Organizations like Humsafar Trust and Naz Foundation took the lead in advocating for rights, particularly in the fight against HIV/AIDS stigma. The 2001 legal challenge to Section 377 by Naz Foundation sparked a prolonged judicial battle. A significant breakthrough came in 2009 when the Delhi High Court decriminalized consensual same-sex relations, stating that Section 377 violated fundamental rights. For the first time, the Indian judiciary acknowledged the dignity of LGBTQ individuals. However, in 2013, the Supreme Court restrained Section 377, stating that amending the law was Parliament's responsibility. The ruling was a setback, but it also reignited the movement. Protests and advocacy gained momentum, and the case reached the apex court once again. Then, on September 6, 2018, history was made. The Supreme Court of India unanimously struck down Section 377, decriminalizing homosexuality. Justice Indu Malhotra powerfully stated, "History owes an apology to the members of LGBTQ community. It was a moment of triumph, a moment of justice." Since then, the fight has continued. Marriage equality, anti-discrimination laws, and trans rights remain key issues. The Transgender Person Protection of Rights Act 2019 was a step forward, but activists argue that more needs to be done to ensure true equality. Today, India stands at a crossroad. While legal victories are significant, societal acceptance is the ultimate goal. The journey is far from over, but with each passing day, we move closer to an inclusive and just society. The future of LGBTQ rights in India is not just a legal battle. It is a fight for dignity, for identity, and for love.
Not celebration, it is also a protest. right? It is a very political statement going out to the government that there's a large community in play and their rights needs to be met and we need to be heard equally. Decriminalization has only targeted one aspect of it, but there's a larger aspect where the rights are still not there with the LGBTQ community. So we need to really focus on those rights like inheriting properties together, opening bank accounts. Marriage is one big thing because once the marriage comes into play, all these other aspects of the rights will actually be met.
I'm living with my partner for past 10 years, but I cannot, our love is not recognized. I cannot include him in my medical facilities, which is very much important, right? So ultimately, if marriage rights is given to us, there is a lot of economic crisis which can be avoided.
Person loves someone's soul, not their body, and whoever loves their body, it's definitely a gold digger. The government is not trying to think from the views of the LGBT community. How would you like to feel living in your own country and feeling like you should not be a part of it? Just because of society and because वो एक लड़का है और एक लड़की है और लड़का और लड़की की ही शादी हो सकती है और सोसाइटी का इसमें मतलब रोल होना ही नहीं चाहिए शादी किसकी होती है
Exactly. Why do you care?
Yeah, why do you care? Why do you care? हाँ, you have to go in their house. Tell me that. You just have to eat your food in the wedding. That's all you need to do. Okay.
The voices of Gen Zs, their ideas, their struggle, their unwavering beliefs are shaping the future of LGBTQIA+ rights and inclusivity. But what do they really think? Are we truly progressing, or are they outdated notions of gender and sexuality still control our world? For centuries, LGBTQIA+ individuals have fought for dignity, visibility, and equality. While some nations have embraced progress, others still cling to old-fashioned ideas. In India, the battle has been long, but the hope persists, marked by landmark judgments, changing social perception, and relentless fight of the LGBTQIA+ individuals for a rightful place in society. The struggle for LGBTQIA+ rights in India has been one of the most resilient against repression. For decades, the law criminalized queer existence. Section 377 of Indian Penal Code, an archaic colonial law, branded same-sex relationships as unnatural offences. But in 2018, the Supreme Court delivered a historical verdict in Navtej Singh Johar vs. Union of India, striking down this regressive provision and affirming that sexual orientation is intrinsic to identity. The ruling was a monumental victory, but was it the final battle? The answer is no. In 2021, the Madras High Court outlawed conversion therapy as Sushama versus Commissioner of Police. The ruling was a beacon of hope, making Tamil Nadu the first Indian state to ban this barbaric practice. But what exactly is conversion therapy?
Just as two people look different, two people think different, two people love differently. It's time that we recognize that. The gruesome death of the 21-year-old Anjana Harish is a nasty reminder of the phobias that exist around us. Anjana Harish is a victim of biphobia. Families are supposed to support their children, are supposed to make them feel safe. But what if your own family turns antagonistic? What if the same family that is supposed to support you turns violent against you? And violent against you to such an extent that you take your life. It's important that all people who are watching this video, who are sharing this video, understand that bisexuality or any other form of sexuality is not an aberration, it is a variation. Sexuality is just a variation and it's not an aberration. So what are you trying to convert? It's important that you convert yourself with being unknowledgeable about sexuality to come to a path of knowledge and wisdom where you understand that two people who love differently are not people who are Aryans or deviants or anything of that sort. They just love differently. Understand that this is normal. Even if you are in the state where you're questioning your sexuality, the Q in LGBTIQ also stands for queer and questioning. It's all right. Understand that you can reach out to people. Reach out to people. You will find people in the queer community who will be willing to speak to you. People with non-supporting families understand that there are families beyond families. Understand that you do have the choice of having your family of choice.
Conversion therapy is a form of psychological violence. It is neither a therapy nor medicine. It is a torture masquerading as treatment, from electric shocks to forced hormone injections, from psychiatric brainwashing to spiritual exhaustion. It operates under the name of correction. The Madras High Court's ruling was crucial, but the conversion therapy still thrives in secrecy. Many survivors never report their abuse, fearing family rejection, societal stigma, or worse, honor-based violence.
I was beaten with a Bible and told that I needed to repent the demon of homosexuality and expel him from my body.
Wow, if I heard someone was beating my kid with a book, I would have beat them with a book.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Marcus. What's your name?
Jules.
I'm Annie.
Nice to meet you
too.
What are we here to talk about?
Do you know what coming out of the closet means?
A kid in the closet playing hide and go seek and then it's coming out of it.
Not literally, but that's actually a really good metaphor. Coming out of the closet means that you reveal to other people something about yourself that's been a secret. This is more often than not used for people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. Have you ever met a gay person before?
I think I have met somebody who is, but they're like my age.
Have you ever known any LGBTQ kids?
My sister.
Oh, wow.
She started dating a girl and I was like, oh, okay, she's nice, I can get used to this. No, it's fine. Of course, it probably wasn't our parents' first option.
Right.
And stuff like that, but they were there for her, for
That's
sure.
really wonderful and good to hear.
I do attend church in Presbyterian, so I don't agree with like homosexuality and stuff, but it doesn't mean I don't have like friends and family that I like love and respect and adore who are.
Sure.
So I believe it's like their choice.
Where did you get that idea that I guess that it's a choice?
I didn't ever really have that exact idea.
We didn't pose the question to you fairly. Do you think that being gay is a choice?
Okay.
Okay. I think it depends. If you're born into the world and you're you know you're different at such a young age, then yeah. But if they're like 25, they've been like straight all their lives, and then they realize, oh, I'm kind of digging girls now, you can change that.
So there's a lot you can lose in coming out. You can lose your friends, you can lose your family, your home. There's all these things that create fear. So you just spend forever avoiding it. It can be a long time before you're willing to accept it.
When you were coming out of the closet, how was people reacting when they heard that you were gay?
I first came out to myself when I was 13. And my family, unfortunately, wasn't very supportive. I was sent to my grandfather's, and he and his church put me through conversion therapy to try to change me. Have you ever heard of conversion therapy?
I think.
What does conversion or convert mean?
Try to switch someone's mind or...
Correct, actually. The intent of this is to get the person to change. It's to make them not be gay anymore.
So in conversion therapy, you go to this place where they're trying to change how your personality and how you are.
Correct.
That would just be pure mean.
They're trying to make you like girls again for some reason.
Yeah, and the reason why is because unfortunately, a lot of people don't like gay people because maybe their religion tells them not to. Did you grow up in a religious environment?
Yeah, I am religious, but it's not meant to like hate everybody because hate's not gonna get you anywhere in the world. God gave us a choice. My choice is to love.
That is powerful. You're a very, very, very enlightened kid.
Can I ask you what techniques were used during your therapy?
First, I was forced to do manual labor in the yard from sunup to sunset while repeating Bible passages. I was told that my friends were all going to die of AIDS, that I was going to die of AIDS. I was beaten with a Bible and told that I needed to repent the demon of homosexuality and expel him from my body.
Wow, if I heard someone was beating my kid with a book, I would have beat them with a book.
I was not allowed to communicate with anybody. I couldn't even talk to my mom on the phone.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 14.
14? That's actually pretty young for that.
Yes. The more I was resistant to what they were trying to do, the abuse increased into what's called forced fasting, which is just a polite way of saying that I was starved.
That's just wrong.
It is. It's very wrong.
Which one of those was actually the one that you felt the worst about?
It was the loneliness. Part of conversion therapy, before any physical abuse starts, it's all about breaking down your spirit. It's all about breaking down your mind. And unfortunately, oftentimes it's successful.
When that happened, were you faking like it was working so that they wouldn't like abuse you anymore or like to try to stop it?
No. The reason why is because I didn't think that there was anything wrong with me. The worst thing that you can do is deny who you are, and that goes for anything, because do you like Doctor Who? Let's say a lot of other people don't. And let's say all of your classmates said, we're not gonna be your friend because you like Doctor Who. But if you say that Doctor Who is stupid, we'll be your friend. Would you do that?
Well, I'd not stop because I just love watching Doctor Who.
Exactly, so I don't believe in lying about yourself to make other people happy. I just stayed true to who I was.
That's really clever.
Thank you.
Could you give me like some tips or something to like be a good friend to my friend?
The biggest one is just to be a friend, be there. Because coming out, it's still so scary and it's confusing. And sometimes that journey takes a really long time to get there.
To this day, do you feel like at peace with yourself?
I do. If someone said tomorrow, oh, here's a pill to make you straight, I wouldn't do it. I love being gay. I wouldn't change it.
That's good.
Gen Z and the gender spectrum are a new understanding. Unlike previous generations, Gen Z is redefining gender. They view it as a fixed binary but as a fluid, self-defined identity. Terms like non-binary, gender fluid, and agender are now a part of mainstream discourse. But the question is, has the society caught up? Despite this shift, institutions, legal documents, even family fails to recognize, identifies beyond the binaries. Many transgenders and non-binary individuals are still forced to mark male or female in official forms, denying their very existence. Even in progressive circles, misgendering is rampant. Pronouns are ignored, gender-neutral spaces are rare. The struggle for recognition is far from over.
हमारा देश आज उन कतार में खड़ा हो गया जिन कतारों में समलैंगिक देश है। समलैंगिकता को मान्यता देना बिल्कुल हमें लगता है एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय साजिश है, बिल्कुल ये गलत है।
जिस वक्त दुनिया खल हुई है उस वक्त से एक दुनिया का निज़ाम है, तो उस निज़ाम को चैलेंज करना और उस निज़ाम का मज़ाक़ा बनाना ये बिल्कुल गलत है।
Yes. Faith, culture, and tradition often dictate how LGBTQIA+ identity are perceived. While some religious leaders advocate for acceptance, others continue to preach intolerance. For many LGBTQIA+ individuals, family becomes the first battleground. Parents fearing social ostracization force their children into conversion therapy, arranged marriages, or worse, disownments.
आपके बच्चे ने आकर आपसे बोला कि वो होमोसेक्सुअल हैं, मतलब उनको लड़के को लड़का पसंद है, लड़की को लड़की पसंद है।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर हम शुरू से बच्चे को बोलते रहेंगे कि ये सब चीज़ ऐसे नहीं करनी बेटे, तो कुछ तो असर पड़ेगा ना उनको, कुछ तो सुनेंगे बच्चे माँ बाप की। अगर हम कभी उनको इस चीज़ के बारे में बताएंगे नहीं तो उनको कैसे पता चलेगा?
The burden of family honor often overburden a child's right to live freely.
We are not doing anything wrong. We are not hurting anybody here. We are responsible. We are a responsible citizen. We are paying tax. So then why to be like a second-class citizen? We just love each other and we just wanted to give a name to it. I wanted to be a part of those staff room gossip when they gossip about their husband and wife. I wanted to be part of those locker room gossip or, the corridor chat. I wanted to talk about Abhay as my husband, not a friend that I live with. So yes, marriage or quote unquote wedding was important because I wanted to tell the whole world that we are happy together and we are together. He said that, Supriya, I'm interested. I was like, okay, but I'm looking for a relationship. We met around 10 o'clock in the morning and finally we said bye around 7 in the evening. The first day I took him to a salon. And I was like, hey, I think you need to go for a salon. Your hair is very clumsy. So that's how it started. And the best part about the first meeting was we both of us kind of clear about what we are looking for, and we kind of quite sure he's the one. Abhay said a beautiful thing. Abhay told me, Supriya, I liked you a lot, and I really want to take this forward, but I have 3 conditions. And so I'm a Gemini, right? I was like, how dare somebody give me conditions? And I like this thing because, as a queer person, our whole journey is to fit in, right? And if you talk about quote unquote a heterosexual relationship, this is always the first step, right, to meeting the parents. When he said that, and I was like, okay, I think this is the real deal. I said that, if somebody judge you because of your sexual orientation and they don't want to continue the friendship, they're not your friend. You don't need them in your life. So we both were COVID positive, during the month of April. And so I was lying on the bed and I was just wondering that we are together. It's been 9 years, but we don't even have any rights, right? We can't even have a health insurance together. We can't even share our properties together. It was that moment, it was that particular moment when I think I still can hear when Sophia was announcing that husband. And it was a very, very emotional moment for all of us who were there in that moment. And emotional, overwhelming, I think that's the whole fight all about, right? Just to hear that we are husband and husband.
Raksha, I watched Supriyo Chakraborty videos last night and his words stuck with me. We are responsible citizens, paying taxes yet treated as second-class citizens. He wasn't asking for special treatment, just the basic right to be recognized as married.
Exactly. He spoke about wanting to be part of everyday conversations. Just saying I am married instead of I live with a friend. It's about dignity, not just a label.
This isn't just about a ceremony, it's about a legal right. Joint health, insurance, inheritance, property, and adoption. Decriminalization in 2018 didn't change the fact that same-sex couples still exist in legal limbo.
The law says you can love, but you cannot call it a marriage. What happens if one partner is critically ill? Who makes the medical decisions if they aren't legally recognized as family?
Supriyo said, "We just wanted to give a name to our love, something most people take for granted, yet denied to same-sex couples in India."
And even if they build a life together, legal benefits are denied. Adoption laws allow a single woman to adopt, but a single man can only adopt a boy. A same-sex couple, only one partner can legally adopt, leaving the other with no rights.
And then there's lavender marriages, depicted in Badhai Do. A gay man and a lesbian woman marry under societal pressure just to obtain legal recognition, while secretly seeing their true partners. That's how flawed our system is.
Marriage isn't just a social construct, it's a legal gateway to rights. Without it, same-sex couples are denied property rights, healthcare benefits, spousal support, the basic recognition of being family.
कह सकते हैं तो फिर शादी लीगल करने की क्या जरूरत है? इसका आंसर आपको मिल सकता है अगर आपने बधाई दो मूवी देखी है, जहाँ शार्दुल और सुमन दोनों होमोसेक्सुअल हैं, पर अपने परिवार के दबाव की वजह से एक दूसरे से शादी कर लेते हैं ताकि उनका परिवार सोचे कि वो नॉर्मल है, पर वो जानते हो कि उनकी असली जिंदगी में चल क्या रहा है। और इन शादियों को बुलाया जाता है लैवेंडर शादियाँ, जब एक लड़का जो गे है और एक लड़की जो लेस्बियन है वो एक दूसरे से शादी कर लेते हैं, इसलिए नहीं कि वो एक दूसरे से प्यार करते हैं, बल्कि कन्वीनियंस के लिए, ताकि समाज उन पर कोई सवाल ना उठाए। पर बाद में उनके परिवार को पता चल जाता है कि वो दोनों गे और लेस्बियन है।
क्योंकि गे, होमो, समलैंगिक जो बुलाना आपको, हम भी हैं गे हम।
पर परिवार इस चीज को मान लेते हैं।
Our constitution guarantees equality under Article 14 and forbids discrimination under Article 15. Navtej Singh Johar decriminalized homosexuality, affirming sexual orientation as a part of identity. So why does marriage remain off limits?
And Article 21, the right to life and personal liberty, upholds the freedom to choose one's partner. Shafeen Jahan versus Asokan KM affirmed that the right to marry is fundamental. So why the hypocrisy?
Our laws claim to protect all citizens equally, yet same-sex marriage is dismissed as a heterosexual institution. But didn't the Special Marriage Act 1954 challenge traditional norms by allowing interfaith and intercaste marriages?
Exactly. Marriage has evolved globally. Countries like the US, Canada, and Taiwan recognize same-sex marriage. Obergefell versus Hodges affirmed marriage as a fundamental right for all. Meanwhile, India remains stuck in the past.
Without legal recognition, same-sex couples face hurdles everywhere. No joint taxes, no shared life insurance, no spousal benefits. If one falls ill, the other has no legal standing. That's not just inconvenient, it's inhumane.
Even property rights. If one partner dies, the surviving partner might not have any claim over joint assets. Their love, real in every sense, is invisible in the eyes of law.
And adoption laws. A single woman can adopt freely, but a single man can only adopt a boy. Same-sex couples. If one adopts, the other remains legally non-existent as a parent.
This isn't just about a title. Denying same-sex couples marriage denies them a host of rights. It's systematic discrimination.
Some say same-sex marriage is against Indian culture. They argue that because same-marriage couples can't procreate, they can't form a real family. But what about the heterosexual couples who choose not to have children? Is their marriage invalid?
And history proves otherwise. Ancient India embraced gender fluidity. Khajuraho temple, the Kama Sutra, all depicted diverse love. Colonial rule imposed rigid binaries, not our traditions.
The idea that same-sex marriage is a Western import is absurd. Our history has always been inclusive. The British imposed their morality and we are still stuck with it.
Legal gap is glaring. Navtej Singh Johar was a victory, but same-sex couples are still denied marriage rights. How do we reconcile this contradiction?
The judiciary has been progressive. Shafeen Jah affirmed that the right to choose one's partner but left same-sex marriage to the legislature, and that's where the real problem lies. Conservative politics and patriarchal norms.
And without marriage, the discrimination snowballs. Inheritance, taxation, healthcare. Same-sex couples are treated as legal strangers.
Globally, the tide is turning. Obergefell versus Hodges in the US, Taiwan's legislation of same-sex marriage, even conservative countries are moving towards equality. India, a democracy built on justice, must do the same.
International bodies like the UN stress that marriage is a fundamental right. Yet, our lawmakers cling to outdated norms, refusing to acknowledge same-sex unions.
And the procreation argument, laughable. Love isn't defined by the ability to have children. Commitment, care, and respect make a family.
This is my first gay wedding, by the way, and for many of you, this might be your first gay wedding to attend. Back in 1997, I was one of the luckiest father around. My son was valedictorian, spelling bee champion, UT Plant 2, playing the great job as a Romeo, and he actually fooled me because he actually did a good job as a Romeo and Juliet, and he had no lafda. I mean, everybody else has a girlfriend here and a girlfriend there and this and that. And I said, Parag is such a pure guy. Man, I'm so lucky. Right? And he was doing everything. He was passionate about people. He was passionate about different people. I said, God is really smiling on me to give a wonderful child like this. He used to perform Bharatnatyam. He used to even perform at different days event as the MC, as a joker or whatever. That time there was not much of a competition. But the thing is, that was the best of the time, and suddenly it turned into the worst of the time. On 27th March at 4:25 p.m. on that Friday night, Parag had a very small speech. Dad and Mom, I'm gay. I have known it since I was 10 years old. I thought I was confused, but I'm beginning to realize that I am gay. I thought I will hide my being gay until you die, so you won't be embarrassed. I tried to commit suicide while I was in the high school, but I did not succeed. Thank God for that. Parag is very wimpy. I don't think he could do that. So, but he tried. But last week I was discussing in the class, and there was another Indian girl, and I blurted out, I am gay. So I knew the news will come to you sooner or later. Therefore, I'm telling you I'm gay. The whole thing was like 3-minute speech. From the best of the time, our life went to the worst of the time. And I was a very homophobic person. There is no question about it. So I thought there is no big deal. I'll fix him. I'll find the best treatment center in the country. I'll find the cure for it, and I'll handle it. Monday morning, I was the first person to enter the medical library, and I pulled out all the cumulus medicus, which means all the articles. They're all listed in one book for last 5 years for G and H and all that, and I started looking up the article. And then I suddenly realized in 30 minutes that American Psychological Association back in 1973 had declared that gay people is not a disease, it is not a defect, it is not to be cured, it is not contagious, and if you accept somebody is gay, your child is not likely to be more gay than otherwise. I asked a simple question. Do I love my son any less at 4:31 than I loved him at 4:24? And a long pause, and the answer was no, I still love him the same. So then I wrote a letter, and when I wrote a letter, this is what I did. I said, who will be the 50 people who have played the important role in Parag's life? Some of them were very conservative, and I knew that they will freak out when they heard it. So I kind of thought, okay, maybe 50% of the people would not talk to me. And my life would really be isolated. What to do? Again, a few minutes later, the answer came very simple. I said, Vijay, if there are 50% of the people who don't want to talk to you, maybe they don't need to be in your life. Why don't you stick with the other 50% who will be with you?
Recognition matters. Marriage isn't just a formality, it's legal protection. Supriyo's words echo. We are responsible citizens. Why are we second class? Denying marriage isn't just legal exclusion, it's a moral failure.
And personal laws, adoption, surrogacy, inheritance are all tied to marriage. Without it, same-sex couples are denied fundamental rights, treated as two strangers instead of a family.
Now, if we are looking for a solution, then I think the solution is Special Marriage Act. It already provides a secular alternative to personal laws, including same-sex unions would grant equal rights without conflicting with religious traditions.
Hello, my name is Vishwa.
And I'm Vivek.
We are an openly gay couple. We have been married for
7 years.
6.5 years.
What do you want to say?
It's 6.5 years.
Okay, chalo, we'll have to do it again.
सच्ची में पंडित जी तो वही बोल रहे थे ना कि ये तो पहले जमाने में भी होता था, इसको बंधन विवाह कहते थे.
I don't think there's anything good about being unofficially married. I wanted to be officially married.
अगर तुम्हें उठा लेता तो फिर इट इज इम्पॉसिबल, फिर तुम नहीं डाल पाते, तुम्हारी हाइट कम है. ये मेरी जिद थी. इन लोगों का कहाँ मिलेगा, क्या है, कुछ लीगल नहीं है. मैंने कहा सारा इंतजाम मैं करूंगी, लेकिन साथ तब रहना है जब शादी होगी. मंगलसूत्र दोनों ने एक दूसरे को पहनाया, चेन पहनाया उसकी जगह पे, दोनों ने एक दूसरे को हल्दी चंदन किया.
In case of a gay marriage, who will be the wife? In case of a lesbian's marriage, who will be the wife? These questions will arise.
Who will be the wife? Will you be the wife? Or do you want me to be the wife? I can be the wife.
The discussion has started. That is more important, and it is accessible to everyone. We have a Chief Justice who is actually listening to the arguments of both, and at least people are going to now start talking about it.
I'm just praying God, I'm putting my finger cross कि हे भगवान ये हो जाए. पहले दिया बाद में जलता है. ये भी कुछ पता भी है। इन 377 के बाद में मैं कह पाई कि नहीं ये इसका पार्टनर है। हर एक को मैं कोई पूछ पे ये कौन है आपका, बता पाई मैं। उससे पहले मैं नहीं बता सकती थी, पता के चला इन्हीं को उठा के जेल में डाल देंगे। तो जब उतना होने से इतना फर्क मेरे को पड़ा, ये हो जाएगा तो बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स हैं ऐसे जो कि दबे हुए हैं, ढके हुए हैं, डरे हुए हैं, सब निकल के बाहर आ जाएंगे। बच्चे सबको प्यारे होते हैं यार। उसके ऊपर खड़ी हूं तब भी नहीं
पूरा निकालो हिस्सा
इतना अच्छा
टू स्मॉल।
क्या स्मॉल?
थोड़ा बड़ा
नहीं, इतना बहुत है। बेचारे बेचारे पौधे को क्यों खराब करना है?
Marriage is not only a question of dignity.
This is my favorite part.
It is also a bouquet of rights.
It's a bouquet of rights. When you give those rights, so you're basically giving us a bouquet, which is all of these rights that are intertwined to each other, and that will significantly increase the quality of life of LGBTQ couples. I can say it is not against India's constitution. At least that is one way that I can shut them up. And there is a lot of power in that statement. People know us as a couple, but there are a lot of financial, social decisions which we are not expected to take together also, and we cannot take together also simply because we don't have the liberty to do that.
The health insurance, then buying a house together, income tax benefits.
Once we have the right to marry, automatically the gates of adoption, right to adoption, that will also be open to us. मम्मी है मैंगो बहुत सारा और
नहीं, आई नो, बट आई जस्ट डोंट नीड दैट मच ना। सब कुछ डिपेंड कर रहा है, बहुत सारी खुशियां डिपेंड कर रही हैं इन प्रोसीडिंग्स के ऊपर।
I am not able to nominate my partner for life insurance. Now, these are not theoretical issues. This is our life.
So that is where the question that we were asked, no, whether we want partial, would we be okay with partial, or would we be able to? So I have a strong feeling that even if we don't get this ruling in our favor, the same people will continue fighting, and others like us are ready, and we will keep fighting till we get the right to marry. So that's going to happen.
तुम लोगों ने ये अच्छा है, दोनों लोग एक दूसरे को बना करके
Our mom is going to be super sad about it. The petition actually came to court on the 13th of March, which is my mother's birthday. And I called her on her birthday and was like, अच्छा मम्मी पता है ना वैसे आज से शुरू हो रहा है? Like हाँ मेरे बर्थडे पे शुरू हो रहा है, देखना इस बार तो पक्का होगा. And I was like, oh my God, when her heart breaks, it's going to be so I will be sad because she is going to be sad.
Ultimately, I dream of a time where there are no boundaries, there are no limitations on who can marry whom, and people just accepting each other for who they are.
But laws alone won't change societal bias. The government claims same-sex marriage is against culture, but the real culture is about love and acceptance, not just biology.
And history proves it. Ancient India embraced diversity in love and identity. Colonial laws imposed this discrimination, and we need to break free from it.
Society evolves, and laws must evolve with it. If we could change norms for interfaith and intercaste marriages, then why not for same-sex couples?
We've come far, but the fight isn't over. Decriminalization was step 1. Marriage equality is the next frontier.
It's about dignity, equality, and justice. Love is love, and no law should stand in its way.
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I?
Yeah, you're audible. So हम लोग ये इंटरव्यू ऑनलाइन मोड पे ले रहे हैं. Please good. सबसे पहले मैं बताना. इसके अलावा अपना इंट्रोडक्शन देंगे. You are good audience.
मेरा नाम रुपेश वर्मा है। मैं फिलहाल CA इंटर में हूँ और साथ में साइमल्टेनियसली बीकॉम कर रहा हूँ। बीकॉम के सेकेंड ईयर में हूँ।
कौन सी सिटी में सिचुएटेड है आप अभी?
अभी फिलहाल तो भिवंडी में डोमिसाइल है।
सो मैं आपको सबसे पहले बताना चाहूँगा कि हमने इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट किया था, उसकी कुछ क्लिपिंग्स हम एक अपनी डॉक्यूमेंट्री में यूज़ करेंगे, जिसको हम फिर पब्लिश नहीं करेंगे, जो बस असाइनमेंट के लिए सामने रखी जाएगी। सो आर यू फ्री?
या
Thank you, Rupesh. So shall we start?
Yeah.
I hope the movie is quite okay. So first of all, I would like to ask you, when did you first realize that gender is more than just male and female? You know, binary system. When you realize that there is more to it?
Honestly, मुझे हाई स्कूल के दिनों में पता चल गया था कि जेंडर सिर्फ 2 ऑप्शंस तक लिमिटेड नहीं है। I remember this one conversation in class जहाँ पे एक फ्रेंड ने मेंशन किया था कि लोग मल्टीपल वेज में एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं। It just really hit me. It's completely not black and white. It's I guess gray area है। I started reading upon different cultures and identities। यहाँ पे मुझे पता चला कि जेंडर सिर्फ 2 ऑप्शंस तक लिमिटेड नहीं है। ये completely wider spectrum पे फैला हुआ
है। Next, I would like to ask that have you ever had to correct someone's assumptions about gender? How did they react when you did so?
हाँ, एक बार कॉलेज में एक बंदा अपना बिंदास assumption लगा रहा था कि लोग स्ट्रिक्टली 2 ही जेंडर तक लिमिटेड है, या तो मेल या फीमेल। मगर मैंने कैजुअली कहा कि एक्चुअली जेंडर इज मेड और फ्लूइड कॉन्सेप्ट। लोग अपने आप को अलग तरीके से डिफाइन करते हैं। इनिशियली ही वाज लाइक वो रियली, और वो मुझे सरप्राइज कर दिया। बाद में हमने बहुत अच्छा डिस्कशन किया उस पर, और फिर उसका भी मैंने व्यू पॉइंट थोड़ा बहुत चेंज कर दिया। ही इज अ रियली गुड फ्रेंड।
ऐसे हेल्दी कन्वर्सेशन सोसाइटीज में होते रहते हैं, ओपिनियन एक्सचेंजेस काफी हेल्प करते हैं। ओके, सो हमारे नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होगा कि हाउ कंफर्टेबल आर यू डिस्कसिंग जेंडर आइडेंटिटी विद योर फैमिली? Comfortable? Why? You are not comfortable. Why? That is a very controversial question. I want to see this.
यहाँ पे हाल चाल ही नहीं पूछ जाते। ये तो अलग ही बात।
अरे चिल्ड्रंस के मुंह को छू जाए जवाब से। ओके, सो
फैमिली के साथ बात करने में, मैं इस बारे में बात करने में कॉशियस फील तो करता हूँ, मगर पेरेंट्स तो सपोर्टिव है, लेकिन ओल्डर रिलेटिव समटाइम ये बहुत ज़्यादा टैबू टॉपिक है, तो अपने ट्रेडिशनल व्यूज पे स्टिक करते हैं। कुछ कर नहीं सकते उसके बारे में, मगर मैंने कभी मतलब कुछ मूवीज के बारे में इंसाइट्स दिए हैं उनको, और ताकि थोड़ा सा लाइटर पे ही टॉपिक छोड़ा जाए। यही है, और कुछ नहीं।
जैसे वो बधाई जो आयुष्मान गाने की वजह से।
हाँ,
मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन होगा रुपेश आपके लिए कि डू यू थिंक इंडियन स्कूल्स प्रोवाइड अ सेफ स्पेस फॉर एलजीबीटी? व्हाई और व्हाई नॉट एज पास्ट फ्रॉम योर स्कूल? ओके, राइट? या तो क्या लगता है आपको इंडियन स्कूल्स में आजकल जेनजीज के बीच में एलजीबीटी को लेकर क्या होती है?
आजकल तो ये टॉपिक सोशल मीडिया में छाया हुआ है अभी तो बहुत सारे,
बट पीपल के थॉट्स लाइक है फील लाइक
मोस्टली स्कूल्स में तो अभी भी ओल्ड स्टाइल थिंकिंग चलती है।
इवन इन मुंबई?
या सेफ स्पेस की बात करें तो यहाँ पे तो सेक्स एड के बारे में बात नहीं होती स्कूल में, ये तो एक होल न्यू टॉपिक है, इसके बारे में शायद रेडी नहीं है स्कूल। मुंबई में मतलब कुछ कम्प्लीटली पॉश स्कूल देखे तो वहाँ पे ये टॉपिक शायद छेड़ा जाता है, मगर यहाँ पे जैसे कि मैं तो सबअब में हूँ, वहाँ पे तो अभी भी ट्रेडिशनल व्यूज पे स्टिक है, मतलब ज़्यादा कुछ वोकल बातें नहीं होती।
सही बात है। मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन होगा आपके लिए रुपेश, हाउ डू यू फील अबाउट जेंडर नॉर्म्स स्पेशली इन स्पोर्ट्स, स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म्स एंड सोशल एक्टिविटीज? ये जो हमने पिछले क्वेश्चन पूछे उसी का एक समावेशी टाइप का क्वेश्चन।
ये नॉर्म्स मुझे तो लगता है कम्प्लीटली आउटडेटेड है। आई मीन स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म और स्पोर्ट्स ऑफन फोर्स यू इनटू दिस प्रीडिफाइंड रोल्स कि आप यही कर सकते हो, यही आपका रोल है,
पहनना ही पड़ेगा उनको, पहननी ही पड़ेगी, अगर वो पैंट शर्ट्स पहनेंगे तो नहीं पहनेंगे।
यस यस यस। अगर इमेजिन being told that your outfit on your participation in a sport is limited by how society expects you to look or act. ये बहुत फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग है कि मतलब लोगों को रोका जाए अपने ट्रू सेल्फ को लोगों के सामने प्रदर्शित करने के लिए। मैं ये बिलीव करता हूँ कि अगर ये नॉर्म्स तोड़े जाए, मतलब कोई कैसे ना कैसे तरीके से मतलब नए पर्सपेक्टिव्स लाए जाए, तो लोग अपनी इंडिविजुअलिटी को सेलिब्रेट कर सकते हैं।
या जैसे कि आजकल डिबेट्स भी चलेंगे कि इंडिविजुअल राइट्स मतलब राइट्स टू इंडिविजुअलिटीज। ओके, सो लेट अस मूव फॉरवर्ड। मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है कि हैव यू एवर विटनेस्ड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन अगेंस्ट समवन बिकॉज ऑफ देयर जेंडर आइडेंटिटी? और अगर आपने ऐसा देखा है या फिर अगर आपने ऐसा नहीं देखा और कभी आप इस फ्यूचर में देखो तो आपका सबसे पहले रिएक्शन क्या होगा और आप क्या करोगे? बहुत सिंपल, इसके बारे में पता बताइए।
Honestly बताओ तो I have said it more than once I guess, yeah. एक बार तो मुंबई लोकल में ट्रैवल कर रहा था जहाँ पे मैंने देखा कि हाँ वहाँ पे तो कोई हार्शली मतलब जज और कमेंट्स पास कर रहा था, मतलब जो हाँ
कह रहे आप क्या वो कौन से जेंडर को आइडेंटिफाई करते थे? बर्थडे लेस्बियन ये और समवन एल्स कौन थे वो आपका पसंद?
ट्रांसजेंडर।
ओके
या मुझे तो बहुत बुरा लगा, मगर मैंने बस थोड़ा सा उनको सेफ डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करने के लिए कहा। ज़्यादा कुछ उस टाइम पे आप रह नहीं सकते ऑनेस्टली।
तो कितने सारे लोगों के साथ आप कैसे फाइट करोगे?
वही
आपको बस वही है कि हाँ में हाँ भी मिलानी पड़ती है। लाइक सोसाइटी किस तरीके से कंस्ट्रक्ट हो चुकी है ना कि लाइक फिर अगर हम ओपिनियन ऐसी इन्वायरमेंट ऐसी सराउंडिंग में लगाए तो लाइक हम ही आपको लगता है कि ऐसा आउटकम हो जाएगा। अरे देखो ये बहुत ही वोक बन रहा है आजकल ऐसे बोलने का कि अरे बहुत ज़्यादा पढ़ा लिखा है। ओके, मेरा अगला क्वेश्चन है कि you think कि Indian movies and TV shows accurately represent LGBTQI people? Why or not? क्या लगता है?
मुझे लगता है कि अभी भी प्रोग्रेस हो रही है और प्रोग्रेस की बहुत नीड है। मतलब अपना मीडिया है, बॉलीवुड है, इंडियन सिनेमा बहुत ज़्यादा स्टीरियोटाइप कर देता है अपने टीवी शोज और मूवीज़ के कैरेक्टर्स के द्वारा। लाइक अगर पंजाबी है तो वही करेगा वो, और साउथ इंडियन है तो वो एक्सेंट में ही बात करेगा वगैरह वगैरह। तो ये भी मतलब LGBTQ कम्युनिटी के बारे में भी यही स्टीरियोटाइप के हिसाब से ही कैरेक्टर्स बनाए जाते हैं और वही एक्चुअल में मार्केट में सेल होता है।
मैंने भी जैसे एक ट्रेंड नोटिस किया, आपने भी नोटिस किया होगा कि लाइक उन सबको सबसे पहली बात तो रंग बिरंगे सबको रंग बिरंगे कपड़े पहनना पसंद है, सबको पार्टीज करना पसंद है, सब लाउड माउथ है कि लाइक वो भी आपने ये भी कितना प्रॉब्लमटाइज करता है एक चीज को कि लाइक अगर कोई एलजीबीटी एजेंडा से अपने आप को आइडेंटिफाई कर रहा है तो वो सिर्फ वही रंग बिरंगे एकदम अजीब से ही दूर से ही आपको आइडेंटिफाई हो जाएंगे. मतलब नॉर्मल लोगों जैसे भी एलजीबीटी वाले लोग होते हैं, इसीलिए शायद ये भी एक कारण है कि लोग अपने आप को आइडेंटिफाई करने से शर्माते हैं.
हाँ, मतलब अगर देखा जाए तो उनके बारे में बहुत ज्यादा अच्छे कैरेक्टर्स, अच्छी मूवीज बन सकती है उनके लाइफ के कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को दर्शाते हुए. आई गेस एक अर्ध मूवी आई थी राजपाल यादव की, उसमें मेन कैरेक्टर तो ट्रांसजेंडर नहीं थे मगर थोड़ा सा टच किया था उस टॉपिक को. मगर और भी मतलब अच्छी मूवीज आ सकती है इस बारे में.
Okay, that was very nice. Okay, my next question would be favorite of all. How has social media influenced your understanding of gender issues and LGBTQ issues? आपको क्या लगता है? आप मुझे क्या बताइए कि आजकल क्या समझता है? क्या वो बात कर रहे हैं सोशल मीडिया पे LGBTQ?
अगर देखा जाए तो सोशल मीडिया एक डबल एज स्वॉर्ड है. एक तरफ तो कि ऐसा दिखता है कि कितनी अमेजिंग स्टोरीज आ रही है कि इस
आई थिंक हमने कनेक्शन लूज कर दिया है.
और
कैन यू योर लास्ट लाइन? हमने शायद कनेक्शन थोड़ा लूज कर दिया.
तो वही सोशल मीडिया एक डबल एज स्वॉर्ड है. एक तरफ तो ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब कितनी अमेजिंग स्टोरीज आ रही है कि लोग अपने बहुत सारे स्ट्रगल को फेस करते हुए सबको ओपन लाइमलाइट में आ रहे हैं कि ये हम अपने प्रॉब्लम्स के बारे में ओपनली डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं. मगर एक तरफ हम देखते हैं कि बहुत सारी मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन है इसके बारे में. पर्सनली अगर देखा जाए तो थोड़ा पर्सनली ऑनलाइन ट्राई करते हैं कि इनको इन्फॉर्मेशन दी जाए, मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन को कम करा जाए. मगर सोशल मीडिया पे ये सब कंट्रोल करना बहुत मुश्किल है, बहुत. तो ये तो अभी
आप जानकारी लगा सकते हैं. और आजकल ये लाइक आइडेंटिटीज कोई भी बिना अपने फेस के यूजर नेम से आके कुछ भी लिख के चला जाएगा और वो कोई अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं है आपके ओपिनियन की.
और मतलब अगर देखा जाए तो बहुत लोग अपने पावर्स का मिसयूज भी करते हैं. मतलब आप समझ रहे हैं आई गेस.
लॉल की तरफ आपका इशारा बिल्कुल नहीं था. एक्स की बिल्कुल इशारा नहीं था. ओके, सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ बढ़ेंगे हम. What would an ideal inclusive school environment look like for LGBTQ students? Again, at school ticket पूरा और एक्सपीरियंस क्या लगता है आपको स्कूल में क्या रिफॉर्म्स होने चाहिए?
अगर देखा जाए तो आइडियल स्कूल वो होगा जहाँ पे सब कुछ इंक्लूसिव हो. लाइक जेंडर न्यूट्रल वॉशरूम हो. और मैंने जैसे कि पहले बात किया सेक्स एड के बारे में बात हो और उस कवर करे सारे एस्पेक्ट्स रिगार्डिंग जेंडर एंड सेक्सुअलिटी के बारे में. हाँ, और आजकल में वो एक एडोलेसेंस नाम की सीरीज है, उसमें भी ये डिस्कशन हुए हैं. फिर से वही मूवीज कैसे इन्फ्लुएंस करती है उसके बारे में एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव रिव्यू देता है कि क्या है.
लाइक आजकल ऑनलाइन वर्ल्ड इतना टॉक्सिक बन चुका है. फिर उसके बाद स्टूडेंट्स कि लाइक जो हम थॉट्स या फिर जिस लेवल के हार्शनेस हम एक सर्टेन एज के लोगों के साथ एसोसिएट करते थे, आजकल वही चीजें टीनेजर्स में भी आ रही हैं. सो वो काफी, तो उसके लिए जैसे कि काउंसलिंग वगैरह क्या लगता है आपको लाइक होनी चाहिए कि लाइक अभी तक तो काउंसलिंग चलो इतना पुश करने के बाद भी चलो एक कोई बीए ग्रेजुएट एक साइकोलॉजिस्ट आई है कि लाइक स्कूल में कुछ में है कि लाइक अभी तक करना है. तो वहां तक जाने के लिए हमें कितनी लंबी लड़ाई लड़नी पड़ी कि स्कूल में एक काउंसलर एक मेंटल वेलबींग की होती है. तो सेक्स की काउंसलिंग के लिए तो क्या लगता है आपको?
बहुत ही ज्यादा मुश्किल है. फिलहाल तो मुश्किल से एक काउंसलर आया है सारे स्कूलों में. फिर अभी अगर हम इस चीज पे फोकस करें तो मतलब सारे स्टूडेंट्स अपने आप को कम्प्लीटली एक्सप्रेस कर पाएंगे और मतलब अच्छे तरीके से परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं अपने एकेडमिक्स में, या फिर कोई आर्टिस्टिक स्किल्स है या और भी कुछ।
आपसे बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा। आपको छोड़ने का मन तो नहीं कर रहा है। एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन पूछ लेता हूँ मैं। What advice would you give to someone struggling with their gender identity? क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप उन लोगों को जो अभी टैबू फेस कर रहे हैं, अभी शर्मा रहे हैं अपनी आइडेंटिटी को करने में, और मतलब और ऐसे लोगों से कैसे रीच आउट करें?
मेरी एडवाइस तो यही होगी कि सबसे पहले ऑलवेज रिमेंबर दैट योर आइडेंटिटी इज आई गेस वैलिड। यू आर नॉट अलोन इन दिस, मैनी पीपल आर here to help you. आप बहुत सारी कम्युनिटीज जो इस पे काम करती है उसको आप रीच आउट कर सकते हैं, चाहे ऑनलाइन हो या ऑफलाइन, जहाँ लोग आपको समझ सके। वैसे लोग अगर आपके साथ रहेंगे तो आपको बहुत 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 हेल्प मिलेगी। इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू प्रायोरिटाइज योर मेंटल हेल्थ, इस आई वुड like to emphasize on, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I guess asking for help is the bravest thing you can do. Life is full of ups and downs, but trust me, every step you take towards understanding yourself is a step towards a better tomorrow. Keep going, because at the end of the day you are worth it.
Giving speeches, those sunny summers. Like, how that complain that you write in a book that such complex understanding of this understanding. How literally you are communicating, like, आज मैंने बहुत चीजें जानी। मुझे लगता था कि मैंने अभी तक इस चीज के बारे में काफी बट टुडे आई वाज द लर्नर। सो थैंक यू फॉर टीचिंग मी फर्स्ट।
इवन थैंक यू, मुझे भी बहुत अच्छा लगा आपके साथ बात करने में। ऐसा नहीं है कि बस मैंने ही ज्ञान की वर्षा दी है आपको, आपने भी बहुत मदद की इसमें।
तो हमारे ऐसे छोटे छोटे इनिशिएटिव इस बड़े कॉज में एक छोटे से की तरह थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग विद मी। ओके, या हैव अ गुड डे।
So I'm starting recording now. Hi, can you state your name and age, please?
My name is Amog, and I'm 16.
Okay. So when did you first realize that gender is more than just male and female?
Most probably when I saw it first on TV.
And when was that? Like a few years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever had to correct someone's assumptions about gender? And how did they react to this?
No, I haven't. I haven't been through that experience.
But have you ever corrected someone, for example, or have you ever introduced yourself as my pronouns are he or him? Have you ever done that?
No, I have not.
How comfortable are you discussing gender identity with your family?
I'm very comfortable discussing gender identity.
Are you comfortable discussing it with just your siblings, with your parents, grandparents? So what is it? To what extent are you comfortable?
Probably till my parents.
Okay. And do you think Indian schools provide a safe space for LGBTQIA+ students? Why or why not?
No, they do not.
As far as I'm aware, you go to a very big school and they're very open about certain things. Like I know that your school has sex ed talks and all. So do they include all this, or is it just ignored blatantly?
It is pretty much ignored blatantly. They have probably one seminar, and that too is not about LGBTQ. It's about sexual awareness and other stuff such as openly talking about it is very much prohibited.
Okay. And how do you feel about gender norms in sports, school uniforms, and social activities? For example, you are, as far as I'm aware, athlete. You play football and all. So, what do you feel about it? Do people who are transgender, should they be let into male or female teams, or should there be different teams, or what is your opinion about that?
When you talk to it as an athlete, there becomes a clear biological difference. You see, there was this Iranian boxer or something. She was transgender, and of course she won the gold medal because there was a biological advantage. So I don't think that the trans people should be allowed to play sports.
Or should they have a different category altogether based on their,
that is the
physicality?
most probable answer for their people who are transgender.
Okay, so talking about India, you play a lot in the football circuit. So do you see anyone who openly admits that they're gay or who's openly transgender, or is it just a very masculine scene all around?
It's kind of very masculine all around. I mean, no one openly admitted, at least in front of me, that they're gay.
And do you feel that certain sports are gendered in India? For example, basketball is very much played by girls, and then football is played by boys. Same goes for cricket. And then
Yes,
badminton
it
is considered a girl sport.
Yes, it is, but our athletes have proved them wrong multiple times. Our basketball team has now qualified for the World Cup.
Okay, that's great. So, have you ever witnessed discrimination against someone because of their gender identity? And if you did, what did you do?
As far as I know, I haven't seen anyone being bullied on basis of their gender. But if I see something like that, I would definitely stop them.
Okay, that's great to hear. But do you know anyone within your school or within your social circles who openly admits that they're lesbian or gay or bisexual or any other or any other gender identity?
No, not really.
And do you think Indian movies and TV shows accurately represent the LGBTQIA plus people?
No, they do not. They make fun of them and they, post them in a bad light always.
Okay. And how has social media influenced your understanding of gender and LGBTQIA?
Social media has added to the awareness about the LGBTQIA plus community, and it has definitely, given it a ground to stand on.
Okay. And what would an ideal inclusive school environment look like for you and for LGBT students?
An ideal school environment for me on basis of LGBTQIA plus inclusivity would probably, not make fun of the people that are like that, and probably hold seminars and all that stuff to raise awareness about LGBTQIA plus community.
And what advice would you give to someone struggling with their gender identity in India?
In India, there is, not much possibility for maybe tier 2 or tier 3 city, but if you live in a tier 1 city, you can openly admit to it, and you can probably get help from a lot of people.
Okay, so last question for you. Do you think this entire LGBTQIA community, the plus community, I think there are 101 genders now approximately, it should have certain limits? For example, in America, many people identify as a couch, as a cat. Should it have a, boundary line, or is it okay that anybody does anything that they want?
I feel like identifying as a cat or a couch is a sign of mental illness, but as soon as, till you're exploring your sexuality, it's okay. Till you transform into something that you're not, it becomes something that is, implausible.
Okay, so one more question, and this is the last as well. So, if you were to go out to your parents and tell them that yes, I am gay or I am bisexual, do you think would they accept it? And on the other hand, when you discuss the same with them, and if they have a very inclusive attitude towards the community, do you feel that it's just limited that to the extent that if someone else is doing it, it's fine, but if their own kid does it, it's not at all?
I probably think that it would be fine if I admitted to such a thing, but I don't think that they, like even other people doing stuff like this.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hi, could you please state your name and your age, please?
Rishika, 23.
Okay, so Rishika, how do you see the intersection of gender identity and legal rights in modern India with context to the LGBTQAI++ community?
So, to be very honest, I just feel that constitutionally, in modern times, they do have all the rights, and as they ideally should. But I do feel that when it comes to same-sex marriage and all of those things, I feel that socially India is not ready somehow. In this modern India, we as a nation are facing a sort of a moral crisis where our cultural values are colliding with Western values. Somehow we see the LGBTQIA identities as sort of Western, and therefore there is a lot of clash. And I just feel that legal rights for the LGBTQI community, specifically related to marriage, need to come from the society rather than from, the courts. That is my take on that.
Do you feel that individuals from this community, from these communities, still face barriers in professional and social spaces? For example, does it affect their everyday lives, such as finding housing, jobs, or social acceptance even?
Yes, I truly feel that they face a lot of discrimination in every walk of life, because as I said, the values, there is a clash of values, a clash of civilization. Somehow again, these are seen as Western concepts. These are not Indian concepts, okay? This is not your, traditional marriage setup, your traditional, heterosexual setup that, we as Indians are very, used to. Okay? And if like, and I just feel like when it comes to housing, or when it comes to, facing professional barriers also, if some person goes out and says that, whatever, I'm gay or I'm lesbian or something, people are not ready to house them, because they're not very, open about all of these things, and they just feel that even if they'll be shamed in the society.
Okay.
right? For associating with such people.
Yeah. So, how do you handle such discussions on gender with older generations in your family or in a professional environment?
To be very honest, for someone who has friends who are who identify as lesbian or bisexual, etc., I just feel that to handle older generation and all of your in the professional setup, the right way is to sensitize the people about what it truly is, how this is not some sort of disease that someone has. This is completely natural. This is completely biological. Also, I just feel that this is my personal take that somehow we have had like a sort of a dark age, in the medieval times where obviously because of the Islamic thought that came in and then the Western thought, to be very specific, the English thought that came in, it was just made to see as if, the society was simply heterosexual, right? Whereas the ancient Indian society has different examples of trans people, homosexual relationships, etc. And I just feel that people need to know that that was really common back in the day, and that's not something to be ashamed of. So that would go a very long way, because as Indians we understand the best when it comes to our gods. So giving an example that this certain god or that certain god was trans or that homosexual or whatever, that would go a very long way in making the older people understand.
So, do you think we should go back to our civilizational values, the old values? And do you think such discussions can take place in a family setting?
Of course, I just think that not the older values, civilizational values specifically related to, figures in our cultural history who have been homosexual or who have been transsexual, etc. That, of course, needs to be brought up in the discussion, one. And number two is that, yes, these discussions need to happen in families, and I also feel that these discussions need to happen in schools, because what I truly feel and what I've truly learned from my friends is that somehow they were not made to feel comfortable in their schools as children growing up. And I feel that, along with sex education, this education related to gender identities need to be taught to children, where people don't use gay or lesbian as a slur. The children are taught not to use such words as slurs, that this is part of someone's identity and you don't have to use it as a slur.
Okay,
There goes my
so
answer.
do you think digital activism has influenced the LGBTQIA plus movement in India?
Yes, I truly feel that it has influence, and it has influenced both in a positive and negative way, as with all social media. But let's just count the positives here. That I truly feel that gender right movements have reached the masses. It is not limited to metropolitan cities. People in smaller towns, smaller cities who identify themselves as LGBTQIA plus, they have learned that what they're experiencing, it's normal, what other people like them also exist, and that they can reach out, they can come out of the closet, they can tell the problems to such people. So they've made friends from this community. They've met people who accepted them where they haven't received acceptance. So that is a very big positive with the digital movement.
On the topic of acceptance, how far do you think we should stretch the line? because one has to draw a line in the sand, because there are people who identify as a couch, they identify as a cat, as a dog. So do you think that should be allowed? Because at this given point of time, as far as I am aware, there are like 101 identified genders and counting, of course. So do you think there should be a line, and do you think that minors especially should not engage in such things because they're not ready to make such decisions, such life-altering decisions?
Of course, I completely understand. Okay, what you're saying. Minors are not to engage in such decisions because obviously they are minors. If you murder someone, okay, so you get lesser punishments. The reason, the rationale behind it is that you don't have the intent, right, to murder someone. That's what we see in criminal law, right? So when it comes to such decisions, how do you think that you have the right kind of intention to decide for the rest of your life that you are this gender or that gender or whatever? Okay. Secondly, when it comes to the couch and the cow thing, I just feel that there are honestly only 3 genders. Either you are women, a girl assigned at birth, boy assigned at birth, or trans. Okay. Now, whether you're a lesbian, you're a gay, or whatever, these are all sexual orientations. Okay. You are all free to have. But that is not a different gender. Gender is just male and female. So if you identify as a couch, there is something mentally wrong with you and you really need a therapist. That is my opinion on this.
This is an inflection point. This is a moment in time that is requiring us each as individuals and collectively to look in a mirror and ask, who are we? We must stand together and never let anyone stand alone in their fight. No one should be made to stand alone in their fight. The vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And so when we fight the fight that we are in for equality and for justice and for freedom, let's hold on to the knowledge that when we are fighting this fight, people will at some point finally get the fact that all people should be treated equally under the law. The fight for LGBTQ rights is a fight for civil rights, and until all of us are equal, none of us are equal, and none of us will receive justice. We are a nation that was founded on noble ideals. We've not yet met those ideals, we've not yet reached them, but the strength of who we are is we will fight to get there, based on knowing that when we are in a fight born out of optimism, we win. So I say fight on, fight on, fight on. We are going to do this. Thank you.
तेरी मेरी ऐसी जुड़ गई कहानी कि जुड़ जाता जैसे दो नदियों का पानी। मुझे आगे तेरे साथ बहना है, जाना तुम्हें तो है ये बात जानी कि ये जिंदगी कैसे बनती सुहानी। मुझे हर पल तेरे साथ रहना है, तुम कुछ अधूरे से हम भी कुछ आधे, आधा आधा हम जो दोनों मिला दे तो बन जाएगी अपनी एक जिंदगानी। ये दुनिया मिले ना मिले हमको, खुशियाँ भगा देंगी हर गम को। तुम साथ हो फिर क्या बाकी हो, मेरे लिए तुम काफी हो, मेरे लिए तुम काफी हो, मेरे लिए तुम काफी हो। एक आसमां के हैं हम दो सितारे के टकराते हैं।